If you're someone that scrolls on social media and you see people living the life that you want and you're putting in the work every single day, not understanding why you haven't achieved the things that you set out to achieve, you're not alone. Today, we're going to uncover the lies that nobody tells you about scaling a business.
We used to think that business was easy. You work hard, you stay disciplined, you have a great product or service, everything else will follow. But over the last 2.5 to 3 years, we've realized that that's not the case. And today, we're going to be uncovering the hard truths of scaling a business.
Yeah, now we're going to keep it completely real with everybody that's listening. We're going to keep it real with you guys, be as authentic as possible with our own experiences. Kind of tying in from last episode that we did about the devil and what the devil would do to keep you fail, but we're going to do this from our own experiences, doubts that we've had, experiences that we've had, and really uncover the truth about our business journey so far.
And also the lies. What are the lies that we've been told or we've been led to believe, and what are the harsh realities of those lies? For example, it is easy to scale a business. I mean, I can hold my hands up and say, it ain't that easy, man.
Yeah, it's made out a lot easier online.
Yes.
The way that the so-called like Instagram business gurus that are just selling a course on something that they've never done, it's made out so easy that it's super simple to scale from 0 to 10K, or if you're at 5K, you can get to 50K in the next 6 months. Like, it's easy for some people, but not everybody. The majority of people that are in business, it takes time, persistence, and patience to get there. I mean, like, I always go back to Hormozi, but I love listening to that guy. Like, even going back to him, away from personal experience, he was at like 24 flat broke, and now 36. Now he's where he was meant to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on a personal experience, I remember very, very clearly when we started out on this journey with the business, with the podcast, and just in general, like our entrepreneurship journey. If we can even kind of go back before GMS and the podcast, like back to Sweet Tooth days, or even like playing around with the idea of dropshipping, and even just like the ideas that we had, we always thought, right, it's simple. We'll start posting some content, put ourselves out there. We think people like us, so why wouldn't they buy into us? We have good relationships within business. Oh, he'll pay us. They'll partner with us. They'll do this. But the harsh reality of it is that that's not the case. You can't just be a likable person or just have a good product or service and just expect the rest to happen. It's false. It's a lie. It's a misconception that coming into the game of business, personally, I fell victim to. And today I want to kind of uncover those lies for you guys. I mean, we're going to try anyway. Try to give you guys a clearer vision on what it's going to be like if you haven't yet started your business, what to expect. And also if you're in the business, to maybe realize that you're not on your own in this boat, and it's a lot it's a lot harder than maybe you anticipated stepping into the game of business and into the game of entrepreneurship.
I mean, when we first started, if you go back to, so me and Chris, like, we threw an event, we had like a couple of retainer clients on the go, and we did 10 grand in a month, and we were like, oh my gosh, like, this is it, like, we've done it, like, it's 10, then 15, then 20, and it's just not the way that business goes.
Yeah.
It's just not. People can leave you. Obviously, we threw the event, which was another factor towards us doing such good numbers that month, but I remember we were on such a high, and then the month after, everybody dropped us.
Yeah.
Bar one.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was a tough pill to swallow, to be honest with you. It was like, oh, what do we do now? And it would be like, there was no understanding of what actually moves the money needle back then. There was no understanding of how actually business really and truly works. It was more so just, let's put ourselves out there and try and make some bread, which by all means, like, that's not wrong, I don't think, because that is how everybody starts off, right? You've got an idea, you go around knocking, you try and find leads here, there, wherever. But it's understanding what truly will move the money needle, which we were naive to at the time.
Yeah. I think we obsessed with the wrong things. We were so fixated on working on the business and working in the business and doing everything possible in the business, as opposed to taking a step out and saying, right, okay, how can we work on the business? Yes, how can we refine our product and service, but also how do we market ourselves? How do we generate leads? How do we keep our pipeline as full as possible?
We didn't even really know what a lead was at the time.
Exactly. It was just like, let's just throw as much shit at the wall and hope something sticks as possible. And I feel like there is something beautiful in that. There is a part of that which I think shapes you as an entrepreneur to really figure out, first of all, what product or service you're actually going to kind of end up doing, but also as well, like early doors being faced with a lot of no's. I think it shapes you. And I think it gives you a real understanding to, oh, okay, this is what I signed up to. It's not laptop open in the Bahamas, printing cash and kind of living this lifestyle that is made to look so easy to attain on social media. I mean, what would you say? Would you say like social media is part and parcel as to the reason as to why we thought it was as easy?
I think so. Personally, I do. You see, because we grew up and like you see it everywhere. Like first it was like the Signal groups and drop shipping or Amazon FBA, and like you see all these things, even like ideas that we had, and like we assumed that it would be easy. And as well, coming out the back of brick and mortar businesses where it's the direct input of how much work you put in. Obviously, if product's good, which is your direct input, genuinely like correlates to how well the business is doing. For instance, like coming from doing fast food and being the person behind cooking the food, serving customers, like the direct input that I would put in would make the business work. Whereas it's completely different when you go into something that isn't a brick and mortar takeaway. Completely different.
I didn't even think of it like that, bro. Maybe we thought that would be the case because of I'm not going to say morals, but like what was instilled into us from an early age. The more time dad spends at the shop, the more money we make because we're not paying a manager. The more time dad spends at the shop, the better the food is, the better the customer service is, effectively like the more people come back. And to an extent, obviously there's a level of that comes into our business. If we set up meetings and they're not with us, maybe our clients feel a type of way. Fine, I get that. But it's a completely different business model. It's so different. It's not... We were brought up knowing that, like, okay, well, if dad's worked 6 days this week, like, there's going to be extra cash in the bank. Or, do you know what I mean? If dad's worked 6 days this week or the manager was away, it's all right. Yes, he's worked like an absolute dog, but do you know what I mean? We're good. And the food was good, and we're busier next week because he was there all last week, etc. It's different. Bro, it's so different. We literally thought, bro, if we dedicate ourselves fully, how won't it work?
It's dedicating yourself to the right things, though, isn't it?
100%.
I think that's what it is. And that's probably where the naivety comes from. And I don't just think that it's from past experiences, because I think most young people getting into business now, or not even young, just most people that are getting into business and starting something that they can do online or whatever it is, something that's not where you're having that direct contact with a customer yourself, and it's like low ticket customers are coming in, flowing constantly, you're the smiley person behind the checkout or whatever it is. They're never going to understand what it is to purely dedicate their time to. When at the start, the only thing to dedicate your time to is providing the best possible service and product, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Until you learn that you can handwork off to people, you don't have to do everything yourself. I can focus on actually bringing in leads, which I know business owners that are extremely successful doing 250K, 300K a year now, friends, that still aren't doing those things. So like it's still possible to get to these places without solely focusing on working on the business.
But if we look at
understanding it.
Yeah. But if we look at that month that you referred to, we threw the event, we had a couple of retainers, we were flying. We thought we were flying. We went to every shoot. We edited every video. We both went to every meeting. Both of us. All times, everything we did, it was just me and you providing everything. Would those months after that record month, let's say, have looked different if we sent a videographer to the shoots, and the times that we were spending at the shoots, instead we focused on cold outbound? Or do you know what I'm saying? If we at that early stage, yes, we have these clients, and we put all of our time and energy into providing them with the best service ever, but they still left. So if they were going to leave anyway, obviously we didn't know at the time, but looking now, we can look and we can analyze. If they were going to leave us anyway, and we've put all the time and effort into providing them with the best possible service, instead of providing them with 100% service, we provide them with a 90%, and we delegate certain tasks. And that extra 10% of time, we focus on how do we get new leads in or new opportunities in. Would we have been left at zero? Or would we have actually been better off?
Well, we had a bit of a wake-up call.
Yeah.
We had a wake-up call not too long ago, where we've spoken about on the podcast as well, where you sat and you ran the numbers. And we had a bit of a wake-up call to this, to actually working on the business and making sure that our pipeline is constantly full. And that wake-up call was you running the numbers, and we kind of sat there in silence for a minute, frustrated, angry, went outside. And the day after, and then the following day after that, all we did was go through everybody that followed us on Instagram, everybody that we had in our phone book. We found work to make sure that we weren't in a negative that month, that we were in positive cash flow. Like, it's a moment we realized where we had no choice but to work on the business and just to bring in leads rather than working inside it and just twiddling around and messing around and, we should try this or we can do that.
And as well, system building is another big thing that we didn't have we didn't have a tool. We didn't have any system. Like, how do we onboard a client? What does it look like once we have onboarded the client? How are we going to provide them with a service? What does that look like? Even if we had 10 new opportunities every single month and we didn't have the right systems, our churn's going to be through the roof. We're going to provide a mediocre service. We're going to lose the leads. And then based on us losing the leads, we probably won't get any more leads because we're going to be frustrated chasing our asses and trying to make sure we don't lose these leads. So there's so many different moving parts. And we're speaking specifically now about our business model. There's probably different systems and different processes and different operations that you need to have in an e-com store or, I don't know, in a physical store, whatever industry you're in. It's going to be different and it's going to be bespoke towards your industry and also your business. But yeah, working on what moves the needle most as a CEO, as a founder, as a business owner is something that I think not too many people speak about. It's very much like, how can you be the best? How can you be the best? But part and parcel of being the best is having as many opportunities as possible. And we realize that what moves the needle for us is having as many leads as possible at all times. Making sure that our fucking pipeline is filled with people ready to buy from us.
It doesn't actually have to cost, if someone's at home listening, it doesn't actually have to cost you anything to generate leads. I mean, like we've done it completely free now for some time, obviously at the cost of our own time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't actually have to cost you anything. It doesn't have to cost you buying fancy equipment and making content. It doesn't have to cost you paying for ads, paying an agency or whatever it is. Like, it can be as simple as what we described earlier, just going through the people that already know you, they're already warm, they understand who you are as a person, and just seeing if they want to work with you.
And as well, the strategic way that you kind of position yourself. We'll revert back to Hormozy again. Hey, let's just say we sell social media management. Hey, do you know anybody that's interested in social media management? You're not asking them for a direct favor. You're not asking them to buy anything from you. And if you've got a relationship with them, they might say, yeah, I do actually. Or, you know what, I could probably do with some. It's like just little things like this that we weren't aware of until we educated ourselves, until we kind of went and put ourselves out there to learn and be open to learn on how can we be as streamlined as possible, as efficient as possible. Like, it's these little things that can just change so much. If you message someone, hey bro, I'm doing social media management, we charge 1,500 quid, like I think we'd really be able to help you in your business, you're going to get a no thanks mate 99 out of 100 times, maybe probably more. But if you reach out genuinely like, hey, we're struggling for a bit of cash flow at the minute, do you know anybody that would be interested in our services? I know you're a busy person, but I know we're good at what we do. Like, do you know anyone? They might turn around and say, yeah, me. Or yeah, I do know someone. And the amount of opportunities that we actually created just from that one line, do you know anybody that's interested in? Like, it sounds so silly, bro. But
one thing's just come to mind that I feel like a lot of people that are just, either they've been in business for a little while and they're struggling, or they've just started out. Like, the one thing to forget about, I think, completely is shame. Like, you've got nothing to lose. There's not one scenario where anything's embarrassing. Like, what's embarrassing about you trying? There's nothing shameful about that. It's, at the end of the day, you're doing it for you and your business and your dream. So it's like, you've got absolutely nothing to lose. Like, why would there ever be any shame on that? Reaching out to people, or even if it is posting content, if that is your way that you're going to bring in cash flow for your business, there's no shame in that whatsoever. You're doing what you have to do.
Or we can refer back to the podcast we did about the test that the devil throws at us to keep us stagnant, slow us down, and effectively make us unsuccessful, keep us from reaching our full potential. And one of them was fear of judgment. What are they going to say? What are they going to, do you know what I mean? These lingering thoughts in the back of your head are a test. And as an entrepreneur, if you haven't already, be prepared to eat some shit. Be prepared to go through the trenches, because this isn't easy. This shit's hard. So hard. Not being prepared to be judged, to be spoken about, to be laughed at. If you aren't prepared for this stuff, you're probably not cut out to be an entrepreneur. It sounds harsh, but it's the truth. It's part and parcel of what comes.
I feel like you can grow out of that mind frame, though.
For sure you can. But if you don't start, then how are you going to grow out of it?
Yeah.
You have to take that leap of faith. You have to post that first reel. You have to send that first batch of outbound DMs to people that, do you know what I mean? We can speak from an experience, a personal experience. Someone came to us and they were ready to pay us for an ad campaign to launch this new business of theirs. They had no credibility. They had no real results. And they had no real idea as to what systems are inside of their business. And they said, yeah, I've got a budget. I want to do this. I want you guys to just blow me up. Come for an ad. Instead of us taking the money, we said, why don't you just message everyone in your phone book and say, can I do this for you at cost price?
So you've at least got some cash flow.
Yeah. So you can have some cash flow so that you can build some testimonials, so you can have some results that we can market. What's happened? Do you know who I'm on about? Has that lead come back to us? Has that person gone into their phone book and said, hey, bro, I'm starting this new gig. I'd really appreciate, do you know anyone that's interested in blah, 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 blah? No, they haven't. Fear of judgment. And no disrespect towards this person, but respectfully, if you are too worried about what people think of you when you're trying to build something, you won't build it. You just won't. And you're going to stay exactly where you are. There's so many times where me and you have had to just push our pride to the side. So many times, bro.
I spent the day, I think one of the worst experiences in our business is from when we were struggling that month for cash flow and when we actually had to go and deliver the service, and we had to spend the whole day north in the car, and we had to go to like 15 locations, and they were all building sites as well. And it was just absolutely like, fuck, you know, like this is how low we'll go. This is how much we'll degrade ourselves. Because although it wasn't really degrading. I mean, some people, if they were going to get paid X amount for the type
rate
of work that we did, they'd probably be super, super grateful. But fuck me.
I think that comes from a place of,
go on.
I was just going to say, I think that comes from a place of like where we value ourselves. And like, it's like, okay, we really brought ourselves back to the start, which was like a couple of cameramen. But, I mean, here we are. We're talking about it. Not ashamed of it.
Yeah, we'll probably look back in like 5-10 years' time and laugh.
We did what we had to do, bro. Keep the fucking, the wheels moving. Keep it ticking. Keep it stepping. And if you're not willing to do it, then again, we can go back to like, well, it was dropping our pride.
That actually brings us perfectly on to the next point, which is thinking that we are doing better than we actually are.
Oh, wow.
I feel like we've been in and around there sometimes. I feel like that there's probably business owners at home as well that maybe think that they're doing better than they are.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a trap that you can get lost in.
For sure. I think for most that aren't in the space that we're in, let's say, where profit margins are extremely high, if done correctly, we can go back to the food industry. Business owners thinking they're killing it because of their top line. But once they crunch the numbers, they pay their staff, all of their invoices, their suppliers, their tax, their VAT, their rent, their rates. Once all of that stuff's done, yes, you've just done a 50 grand month in your takeaway. What's your margin? Do you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, well, I've got a business that does 50 grand. Yeah, I've got a business that does 50 grand. No, like, it's cool, it's dope, it's good, of course, but are you actually taking anything home? I feel like that is tough. And for us, I think it's we got too excited over opportunities as opposed to
Close deals.
Yeah, and I think that's where those kind of those little things of, oh, bro, we're doing this, and come into play. But yeah, I would also play devil's advocate to that.
Go on.
And say that we sometimes don't appreciate what we've actually done and what we've achieved, and do the opposite. And say like, oh, we're not actually doing as well as we should do because we set such high standards for ourselves. And I feel like as an entrepreneur or a high value person, someone with high aspirations, you should always be your biggest critique. You should always look for places to improve and to do more and to grow. That's part and parcel of being a high achiever, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I hear it. It's tough though, isn't it? It's like finding that line. It's finding that place in between where, I don't know, is the right way to frame it, like staying hungry? I don't know. But does that hunger even go? Like it's a fine line between actually thinking that you're doing better than you actually are, and then like keeping excited, being motivated to show up every single day. It's a fine line that separates them. I feel like it's a trap that I fell in personally, especially at the start. As of times recent, I feel like it's a trap that I've been in. But then you do just kind of have to bring yourself back down to realization, understand like what is the journey, what is the mission, like what are the numbers at the end of the month, and you'll then eventually understand. It's like, okay, where am I at and where do we need to get to?
It's kind of humbling. It's humbling. Like you can have this, I don't know, idea of yourself in your head and what business you run, and when you give somebody your elevator pitch when you meet them at the bar or at this networking event, you're always going to speak of the highs. Oh, what do you do? Oh, we do this and we do this, and oh wow, that's, and like the level of like fulfillment that gives you in that moment is special. Do you know what I mean? When someone's really interested in what you do, but is that really what you do? Or are you trying to do it? Do you know what I mean? Or are you just about making ends meet? Yeah, it's tough. It is tough.
I mean,
it's humbling.
Yeah. I mean, business isn't going to be easy though, is it?
No.
It's not.
You have to be able to look in the mirror and be brutally honest with yourself and say, if I am not happy with my situation and I want it to change, but I'm physically, mentally, emotionally not willing to change, then you're just going to stay in the same place.
I mean, people want the shortcut to business, right?
Everybody wants a shortcut for everything. It's human nature.
I mean, yeah, like people want the
convenience.
Shortcut, but like, the truth is that there is no shortcut. It's like, are you willing to truly show up every single day, like we have been? Like I have truly been dedicated to showing up every single day. So have you. I'm putting in the work with results that we might not be so proud of now. We'll probably look back in 5-10 years and be like, oh my gosh, do you remember those times, the good old days, etc. But are you really willing to not look for a shortcut and not look for an easy way out and truly dedicate yourself to what is now?
Yeah. Well, I don't know anybody that I look up to that truly has something that I want or aspire to have that hasn't been in the industry or in their space for at least half a decade. At least. You see these Samuel Anuas and Iman Gadzis of the world and Jordan Welches of the world that seem to have everything you'll ever want at such a young age, in their mid-20s. Yes, they're young, but how long have they been in it? 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. And you only know them now, which is like that if we go back to what social media kind of, how it leads us to believe the lie that it's easy to make 10K a month, 20K a month, 100K a month, to be successful in the online space. We only get to see the highlights. We only get to see them at the top. They still have the content of them when they weren't, but that's like a distant memory now. You don't go on to Iman's...
No one wants to watch someone that's fucking flat, bro.
Exactly. You don't go onto Iman Gadzhi's channel and scroll to his first video and watch my how to get social media client vlog. 300 views, 2 likes.
I actually did that once with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, of course. You get out of curiosity, though.
Yeah, out of curiosity. And it was fucking boring.
Yeah.
Genuinely, it was.
But...
just put the reps in.
Put the reps in. Been in the game. How many no's did Iman get? How many clients left him?
How many no's are we getting, bro?
Exactly. How many dropshipping stores didn't work for the Nuha brothers before they got one that worked? How many times did they think they made it and lost it? The same for Jordan Welch. Bro, when we were doing dropshipping, when we were trying to do dropshipping, we used to watch this motherfucker's tutorials on how to set up a store. Like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and where was he? Sat in his mom's bedroom, bro, with a webcam going tutorials on Shopify.
Yeah.
Now look at the prick. Well, not the prick, but now look at him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, living the dream, bro. Got his condo in Miami or whatever you call it. His brand new McLaren, which is his dream. Retired his parents. Do you know what I mean? Travels the world, exited his dropshipping store for multiple 7 figures, 8 figures, I believe. But he's put the reps in. He failed. He lost. He got judged. He got laughed at. Who's laughing now, motherfucker? Dead ass. Who's laughing now?
What's the best advice that you can give someone that's getting into business now?
Be prepared to fail. Be prepared to lose, to eat shit. And try and enjoy the journey as much as possible. We did some self-reflection yesterday with our friend ChatGPT. But why don't you tell us, bro? Because it was your gig. It was your thing.
I was doom scrolling the night before, and just as you do before bed, and I came across this reel, and it was like copy and paste this prompt in ChatGPT basically, and do some like self-reflection. I didn't even read through the prompt. Like, I briefly scanned it. I was like, oh, this would be interesting. Like, why not? I enjoy doing stuff like that. And I've put it into ChatGPT, and it's basically, it just asks you questions about where you are now, and kind of, it helps you reflect on yourself so that you're aligned with who you truly are, and like what you can do to improve on those things and become more comfortable in your own skin. I feel like that is the gist of kind of what it was. But we went through that yesterday, and we got that we both need to be more present in the moment, which is enjoying the journey more.
Which was exactly the point that I was trying to make. So me and H have dedicated ourselves for the last 2.5, nearly 3 years to our mission. And in the process of that, we've sacrificed, I think, more than most. Do you know what I mean? We sacrificed a lot. We don't have to go into the details. And everything that we do is for our future. Everything we're working towards is for our future. Everything we're sacrificing is, we'll look back and it will be worth it. And it probably will be. Do you know what I mean? It will be. But it's the big outstanding point on both of the reflections that were given back to us. And this wasn't like a small prompt. It was 10 questions that we answer in detail, and you go into detail. To get the best out of it, you've got to put the most in. You've got to be honest. Some of the questions were slightly uncomfortable.
I agree.
And you really had to think when kind of giving it the feedback. But the outstanding thing, the point that stood out the most for both of us was live a little, man.
I don't think you really understand enjoying the journey whilst you're in it as well. Like, it's quite tough. It's tough to understand what enjoying the journey actually is.
Yeah, because you always feel like you're chasing your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
You always feel like you're chasing your ass, bro. And it's hard to enjoy that. It's easy to be like 20 M's up and be like, oh, I wish I was chasing my ass again. I've never been so fired up and hungry.
Yeah,
but when you're so fired up and hungry and chasing your ass, like, there's not really a part of you where says, oh, let's just wait a minute, boys. How good is this shit situation right now? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to do that. But it doesn't, for me, what I took was, it wasn't necessarily like, just enjoy the hard times. Like, enjoy the journey where, like, if I'm going to work like a beast 6 days a week, on the 7 that I'm not, don't just sit around and do nothing. Like, go and treat yourself. Do you know what I mean? Go and buy yourself something within your means. Go to a nice restaurant. Stay in a nice hotel. Book a trip for 2 days. Do the things that you're working so hard to be able to do, so that when you do come back on that Monday morning or that Tuesday or whatever it is for you, you're refreshed, you're recharged, you're ready to go. And as well, you've put a smile on your face. It's not all doom and gloom. Like, we are building something for our futures, but there is no reason that we shouldn't try and fucking have a bit of fun along the way as well, man. Not to say that it's been horrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I can't remember the last time me and you were in a club together and we got turned. Did us?
Yeah.
When was the last time we went for a good meal? Like a good food, like where we overspent and we had a couple of cocktails. And it wasn't with a client or on a business trip.
Don't think I could tell you, mate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These are sacrifices that we have done because we think that we sacrifice these things equals success. The reality is it doesn't. Because if you sacrifice all these things, but then you get to work and you work on things that don't move the needle, you won't make any money.
Yeah.
So, do you know, like, focus when you are in work, focus on the things. What's moving the needle? How do we progress? How do we keep moving forwards? What's next? Great. But when you come away from that, have a bit of a deep breath. Go and have the cocktail. Book a spa day. Do you know what I mean? Do something to try and enjoy the process as much as possible. Because for 95% of the time, it's going to be fucking shit. It is. I mean, I know that was a little bit prolonged.
No,
but
I liked it, bro.
To anybody getting into business, expect it to be hard. Because we didn't. And the first couple of slaps hurt a lot harder than they should have.
It's got to be fucking relentless, man.
What about you? Yeah. What about you? I know you're probably going to mirror it, to be honest, but is there anything different that you would say?
I think the main thing that I'd say to somebody that was starting business, I mean, I've had this conversation with people before because I can talk from personal experience, the advice that I actually gave to somebody that came to me and said to me, bro, like, thinking of starting an agency, it's 100% profit, like, it sounds fucking sick, you look like you're doing so well, like, what should I do, man? And I didn't want to scare him off, but I wanted to be completely real with this person and be completely honest and tell them my honest opinions. And I wanted to basically say to them that not just an agency, any possible business that you go into ever, is you need to be prepared that it's not as easy as it sounds online. It's fucking hard, and that you have to be absolutely relentless and show up every single day to get what it truly is that you want. That's like full stop. That's the best advice that I could give to somebody.
Yeah. I think it all boils down to how much do you want it. How long are you willing to work like a dog without results? And if the answer is as long as it takes, hats off to you, my friend. See you at the top. And if the answer is, I need to be rich in 6 months, motherfucker, you're going to stay exactly where you're at.
There was a guy 50, 60, 70 years ago, I heard this in a YouTube video, and he spent his whole life trying to make music, and everybody laughed at him. Nothing ever stuck. He wasn't very successful, and not long before he passed away, he had one song that blew up and basically changed his life. That song was Jingle Bells. Genuinely.
No way.
Yeah, swear to God. And it's like, he set out on one mission to become a successful artist. Like, although he spent all of his life doing it and failed, he had the one success. Like, did that make him successful in his mission? I think so.
To further your point,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just searching what the average age of a millionaire is.
Talk to me. It's like 45 or something
Ready?
like that. Go on. I'm probably going to be wrong. It's probably
In
gonna be later.
2022, the average age of America's millionaires was 61.
Damn.
If that doesn't tell you that it's going to be hard and it's going to be long and it's going to be painful, I don't know what else will. The guys that we look up to on social media are, I've said it previously, the Lionel Messis and the Cristiano Ronaldos of the game of business. There's some times where you just have to take your hat off and say, wow, that guy's good. Wow, that guy's good. You are not that far off. Just be there. Show up.
I want to be a fucking Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi businessman.
Yeah, well, maybe we
Swear to
will
God.
be.
Fucking hope so.
You don't get to be Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi without showing up to training every day, my brother. The Ballon d'Ors will come.
Maybe we should start sleeping in the office or some shit like that.
But genuinely, that has really like, yeah. I actually saw something the other day, just to finish off this episode, as to like if you want to be a millionaire in by 61. I'm not going to crunch the numbers exactly, but it was something like if you put £500 a month into a stocks, bonds, and ISAs account, by the age in like 50 years with the average compounding interest and whatever, you'll have £1 million in like 34 years or something like that.
That's pretty crazy, to be fair.
Like, there is no excuse for you not to be a millionaire. And look, £500 a month might be a significant amount of your earnings or whatever, but half it, and the time will double. You will die a millionaire. It's really, really, really that simple. But are you willing to wait? Are you willing to put in the time? Are you willing to show up? That's just something that could be ticking in the background. Instead of putting it into your savings account, you put it into that. By the time you've got grandkids, Papa Bear's got a fucking M in the bank, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's possible, bro. You just need to show up, make the right moves, work smart and hard, not just one or the other. When you bring them together, that's when you truly become a beast.
The thing that's tough is like, yeah, everything can get put into perspective, and I feel like sometimes we probably do put too much pressure on ourselves. But I want to be below 30, and I want to drive something fast, man.
Yeah,
dead ass.
That's where the sacrifices that we've made will come into play.
I agree.
Reverts back to the point I made. How bad do you want it? How long are you willing to show up every day without results to achieve set outcome? And if the answer is as long as it takes, motherfucker, I'll see you at the top.
I think that's beautiful, man.
Vamos. To all of you guys, this is a shorter episode. Me and H have got some business to attend to.
Got some business to show up for.
Exactly that. But as always, guys, we really, really appreciate you lot, especially you guys that click on these in-house episodes. We know who you are, the real troopers. The little DMs that you send us, really enjoyed this episode, learned something about this episode. The few of you that comment on our trailers, our IG posts, our YouTube videos, some of you on Spotify, we love you guys, man. We really appreciate you. It fires us up when we see that stuff. So if you are still here and you haven't, leave us a like, follow us on Spotify, leave us a rating, drop a comment. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell notification on so you get notified every time we release a podcast. And we'll see you all next week.
Sweet guys. Catch us later.
Love you all. Peace.